Race day dawned at Lommel, a lot duller than it was yesterday, a lot cooler, grey and overcast, but didn't affect the riders' presentation. The signing of autographs, the loyal fans all gather round, and they saw lots of action, but there was much more to come, because race one, when the gate dropped, we were putting bets on who'd get the whole shot, but it wasn't Willemsen, it was Etienne Bax and Andre Chermak, who flew into an unassailable lead, and you could see Koen Hermans was in there, Varick was in there. Not such a good start for Marvin van Lukene, who got a little bit bogged down further down the order, but meanwhile Bax was away with it. He knew what he had to do in this race, and he had to score solid points. Hadn't quite sorted out the misfiring problem on the Husqvarna until literally moments before this race, when they diagnosed sand in the injector, causing it to stick, and the injection pressure dropping from 5 bar to 3 bar, and that was the problem. They found it literally minutes before the gate dropped, and he is hoping and praying that that was the problem. Well, I can tell you, it certainly seemed to be the problem. Daniel Willemsen was fighting hard. He was tipped really to get the whole shot, but it didn't quite. But in third place, he was fighting hard. Koen Hermans was behind him. Marvin van Lukene and Veldman catching up. Marvin van Lukene a bit further down the order. Veldman catching up as well. Didn't get the best of starts. Stuart Brown on the inside as Van Lukene swept round the outside of him in his bid to get in touch with the leaders. And right at the front, though, it was Bax forcing on, looking imperious. The Husky going so well in what are difficult conditions. This track had been solid and damp. It had been heavily watered overnight, and to cap it all, there was a thunderstorm in the middle of the night. Julian Veldman and Glenn Janssens making their way through very quickly indeed, diving through on the inside, the Mega delivering lots and lots of power, but was notorious for its consumption of fuel. She's very thirsty, the Mega. Kurt Varick there getting taken and sidelined and pushed back one place. He and Larry Kunas riding well in the sand, even though they admit they don't like it. But Etienne Bax on a mission here, took the checkered flag, victory in race one, 25 points. That was all they needed to do, and they did it in style. So Bax extends his lead at the top of the championship. Veldman fighting up, brings it home. And Kurt Varick, of course, also a very creditable ride for him. So Julian Veldman with Glenn Janssens alongside, doing well. Varick over the line, over the top, and congratulations from Larry Kunas. Race 2, what could we expect in race 2? Well, could Bax repeat his feat of getting the whole shot? Willemsen's in the middle there. We'd put money on him, but look at Bax. Both of them right over the rear wheel into the left-hander. Absolutely fantastic, and that happened. A massive crash. The front wheel dug in. Over they went. Koen Hermans was caught up in it, Julian Veldman was caught up in it, and Marvin van Lukene must have thought all his Christmases had come at once, because he was gifted a trouble-free ride, so to speak. Brett Wilkinson went with him. Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard were doing a good job in the sand here. Kurt Varick was also riding strongly, but those three main contenders were out of it. Varick, at this point, just got passed by Van Lukene, and Willemsen was there waiting to pick up the pieces, as indeed was Brett Wilkinson. Willemsen riding really strongly with Rodolphe Le Breton, this pair having come together at the tail end of last season and making it all work. Etienne Bax, meanwhile, was playing catch-up from the back. Koen Hermans got away before him from that melee on the first turn, but Bax was making his presence felt, and they were having to find their way round. Kurt Varick still going strongly, Willemsen still going strongly, and this was the front of the race, but Van Lukene was out in front. Willemsen, you can see all three of them with Van Lukene just with that narrowest of edges. Fourth place for Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard, and they were to ride a good race, except the freight train was coming, and at the head of it in the driving seat were Julian Veldman and Glenn Janssens, just making up ground hand over fist. The Mega was flying, they were on a mission. No mistakes this time, they'd got plenty of petrol in the tank, filled right to the brim. And that was their problem in race one. They had to slow because they'd run out of fuel. Varick looking good here, and for a man who admits he doesn't like the sand, the blue flags being waved by the others because the leaders were coming through, and behind Varick was Daniel Willemsen, behind Veldman there as well. Willemsen a bit further back, Veldman on his way through, fighting his way past the tail enders. Yet more trouble for Koen Hermans and Nicolas Mousset. They were at this point a lap adrift and really struggling. By their standards, no good at all. Hermans, if I can say this, is either brilliant or he's not very good. It's as simple as that. I think he gets bad luck, a lot of bad luck, but when it goes wrong horribly for him. Etienne Bax, though, charging through, gets eventually up to 4th place, but such was the gap that the leading three had. There was no way Etienne Bax, good as he is, was going to be able to close that down. So it was victory for Marvin van Leeuwenhoek. 2nd place for Kurt Varick and Larry Kunas, who almost bumped into the victory couple. And 3rd place for Julian Veldman and Glenn Janssens. Overall victory for Van Leeuwenhoek and Robbie Bax. They were absolutely thrilled. Etienne Bax made it home a distant 4th, but that was good enough for him to retain the red plate. On the podium then, red plate, overall victory from Van Leeuwenhoek. The next event comes up in just 1 week's time from Estonia, and that is the homeland of Kurt Varick. He and Larry Kunas will be there to share the spoils and enjoy the home crowd. Join us, won't you?